Don't assume people will understand the plan and that they know the plan. You not only have to communicate, but you have to over communicate what the plan is. One of the most difficult things for a leader to do is to manage conflict between two teams. And it can be very difficult if you don't have a framework and a process on how you manage conflict between two teams. Both areas could be high performers, but have completely different philosophies about how they get the job done. And therefore, they now have this inherent conflict. And they're looking for somebody to solve that conflict. And that has to be you. Because if you don't solve that conflict, it could spill over into a level of toxicity that could infect other parts of your organization, lowering the morale for everyone, creating an environment where people don't feel valued, they don't feel respected, they don't feel included, they don't feel listened to, because there's this major conflict that is brewing between two teams. So the question is, how do you as a leader manage conflict between two teams, particularly when it's two teams that you get a lot of value out of and you feel like they're making a big difference? So here's the first thing you do is you got to bring the leaders of those teams together. Not the whole teams, but the leaders of those teams. So somebody is the ringleader on each one of those teams, and you got to understand from each of them what their perspective is. You got to be the person who's kind of like the Judge Judy in the conversation. Bring those leaders in, make sure you understand their perspective, and then you got to help them to solve for a decision about how you move forward. But you don't just want to stop there of getting the leaders together and assuming that when you come up with a plan to move forward, that they're going to go back and communicate it with their teams. They might, but I would not assume it. The next thing you need to do is you need to bring both teams together, maybe virtually, maybe telephonically, and if you can do it in person, that would be ideal. Bring them all in a room and talk about that you understand the differences between the two teams, their different perspectives, and that you've talked to their leader about their perspective. And then you and the leaders have come up with a plan that you want to share with the entire team to make sure they know. See, the reason why you want to go through that process is because you want to validate for those frontline team members that you understand their perspective. Because what many leaders forget to do is to always remember to validate what you're hearing from your teams. That validation is incredibly important and reassuring to those team members. So bring them all together and validate what you've heard about their perspective. And then also acknowledge that you respect their leader. That's the reason why you want to tell them, I met with your leader about the disagreement and about the challenge, and I heard their side, I heard the other side, because you want them to know that their leader matters. You don't want to undermine the credibility of the leader of their team. So you want to make sure that they've been included and that you have shown leadership by showing their leader respect and value in the process. And then the third thing you want to do is, again, communicate what the plan is going forward. Don't assume people will understand the plan and that they know the plan. You not only have to communicate, but you have to over-communicate what the plan is. So there is an unequivocal sense that everybody knows what we're going to do and how we're going to get it done. So if you do those things, that's how you will resolve conflict on your team. And it's very important that you resolve conflict because it could be devastating to your overall culture if you allow conflict to continue to thrive on two high-performing teams. So I want to thank you for watching. Have a fantastic day.